Hello everyone, I'm Cadet Captain James from Fullerton Composite Squadron 56 in South Coast Group 7 of the California Wing. Today I'll be giving you an introduction to Civil Air Patrol. So let's jump right into it. So rather than reading through a bunch of slides, what I'll be doing is a somewhat condensed walkthrough of the Civil Air Patrol website, or at least the pertinent information to this video. As you can see on my screen, a quick Google search of Civil Air Patrol will bring up this page with all this information, but the link that we are concerned with is right at the top, a hyperlink to www.gocivilairpatrol.com. At the top, you can see the COVID-19 Information Center, which just has information about how Civil Air Patrol is involved with the current situation regarding the coronavirus. There are some tabs that guide you to sub-tabs, which may be important to whatever you're looking for. So whether it be member resources or programs, there are some articles regarding how Civil Air Patrol is involved in the real world. But the one thing that I do want to emphasize is this squadron locator. This was a very important tool that I used when I first joined. And it allows you to select whether you're an adult member, cadet, educator, or parent, and use your zip code to find the squadron nearest to you. Civil Air Patrol is often regarded as the Air Force's best kept secret. So I highly suggest you use this because your nearest Civil Air Patrol squadron may be closer than you think. All right, so let's just keep moving along. So as you can see here, I have the About tab, and more specifically, what we're looking for is who we are. On this page, you'll be greeted by this picture of a cadet on an O-ride, followed by some background information about Civil Air Patrol, the mission statement, vision statement, and core values. Civil Air Patrol was founded on December 1st, 1941, 6 days before the attack on Pearl Harbor, which occurred on December 7th, 1941. The initial intent for Civil Air Patrol was to mobilize the nation's civilian aviation resources for national defense. However, in the nearly 80 years that Civil Air Patrol has been around, because of the changing times and changing needs of the country, Civil Air Patrol has evolved into a premier public service organization. Civil Air Patrol is open to both youth 12 and up, as well as adults, and is completely volunteer. Civil Air Patrol is a partner of the United States Air Force and is actually part of the total force. Because of that, Civil Air Patrol is given a number of missions, whether it be search and rescue, disaster relief, or food banks like we saw during the COVID-19 pandemic. With over 60,000 members, Civil Air Patrol is selflessly dedicated to serving our more than 1,500 communities nationwide. There are 52 wings to Civil Air Patrol. So as I mentioned, I'm from California Wing. There is one wing for every state, and the other 2 wings are for Washington, D.C. and Puerto Rico. The other thing that I want to highlight on this page are the core values, specifically this core value of volunteer service. When I first joined the cadet program, in addition to my basic memory work, I learned these 4 core values: integrity, volunteer service, excellence, and respect. I encourage you to take a look at that volunteer service, and if you're already a member of Civil Air Patrol, think about what it means to you. For me, it means being available when my community needs it and being open to working with those in my community. Ultimately, Civil Air Patrol is dedicated to leadership development, aerospace education, and just, like I mentioned already, being available for our communities. All right, so this second sub-tab under the About category is our history. This goes into more detail about how Civil Air Patrol has evolved since 1941 and just certain advances that we've made in that period. I would highly encourage you to look over it, but just to maintain the brevity of this video, I will not be covering it. What I will be covering is this What We Do tab. Civil Air Patrol has 3 primary missions: emergency services, aerospace education, and cadet programs. As I mentioned already, Civil Air Patrol is a part of the total force. For that reason, we are involved in quite a few emergency services operations. Like I stated already, it can be search and rescue, disaster relief, and disaster relief, among other things. However, Emergency services is not this niche area. It is a major part of Civil Air Patrol, and it is open to both cadets and senior members, which is what we refer to the adults in the program. All right, next, aerospace education. As you probably saw in the name, it is Civil Air Patrol, not Civil Sea Patrol, and not Civil Ground Patrol. Aerospace education is a major part of the program. Especially for cadets, aerospace education is a way to see how the world is evolving and understand an area that is becoming ever more prevalent. As you can see with Elon Musk and his pursuit of travel to Mars and other commercial organizations, aerospace is a really important part of our current world. And lastly, cadet programs, or last but not least is cadet programs. As I mentioned at the beginning, I'm Cadet Captain James, not Captain James. I'm a cadet in the Civil Air Patrol Cadet Program. The purpose of the cadet program is leadership development and aerospace education. There's a robust curriculum that ensures that all cadets are taught really important things that are applicable not just inside this organization, but in their professional careers as teenagers and beyond. You can read in testimonies from prior members what they learned in Civil Air Patrol has really benefited them throughout the rest of their lives. So just one final thing that I want to mention is the squadron structure. It's not listed explicitly on here, but there are 3 types of squadrons in the Civil Air Patrol. There is a cadet squadron, which is almost all cadets with some involvement of senior members just to maintain the structure. There are composite squadrons, which are relatively split between cadets and senior members, which conduct their own operation. And then there are full senior squadrons. As you saw on that front page, by selecting which, if you're a cadet, an adult member, an educator or parent, you can find the squadron that is best for you. In most cases, there is a senior squadron and a cadet/composite squadron near you. Yeah, so hopefully this video gave you some of the important information you need, cleared up some existing questions that you had. Please subscribe to this channel, support the cadets in Group 7, and I hope this video is helpful to both prospects and current members. Please leave any comments with questions that you may have or other video suggestions you'd like to see in the future. Thank you.